Hello, I'm David Roberts with the Heartland Renewable Energy Society. We've the Missouri and Kansas ACES chapters. We've been helping to put on solar tours since 2000, and so this is, I guess, is going on 22 years. We've had a few years of virtual, but we're coming out of that back to in-person tours, and we've had a number of tours in Lawrence. We're here at MERC Food Co-op with Zach from Cromwell Solar. He's going to talk about the solar parts of this building and any other energy features that he's familiar with, and give you all a chance to look. And we've got plenty of examples here to look at, so I'll just turn it over to Zach and let you explain.
Absolutely. So thank you very much. So the MERC Co-op was actually installed in two different phases. We did the roof system, which is a 115 kilowatt system. And then the second phase was installing this pergola as well as the carports. And those are using bifacial solar panels. So they do absorb sunlight from both sides. The second phase was another 85 kilowatts. So the MERC has 200 kilowatts of solar energy, and they are producing about 30% of the energy that they actually consume. So absolutely, it's a wonderful thing. We're helping the MERC get to their sustainability goals. Yeah, absolutely.
And so your panels, they have inverters with each one?
Yes, absolutely. So the inverters installed on the roof, those are SMA inverters. We also have car chargers installed in the parking awnings. Yeah.
So if they have an electric vehicle, they can plug in and
absolutely,
charge.
Absolutely, free of charge.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. The MERC, they do provide that to their customers, so they can charge their vehicles while they're shopping.
Sustainability at its best.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And how long did it take to install the systems for each phase?
So the first phase, actual install with the crew being out here, took about 2 weeks for the roof, and for the carports, because we did subcontract the actual carports, that phase took about a month to actually be completed.
So they had to build the frame, and then
yes.
and then you guys
and then
mounted the panels
the solar
on
panels.
Okay.
Absolutely. Perfect. But
yeah. And for the roof, was there anything special to deal with the commercial roof and putting the panels on it?
So on the roof, it is a ballasted system. Okay. So there's no roof penetrations or anything like that. It's actually held down to the roof by weights.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it designed for a certain wind speed, or?
Yes, there is certifications, that we have to pass to make sure that it is, up to spec for the winds that we do experience here in Kansas. But yeah, so far we haven't really had any problems or any solar panels that got pulled away by the wind.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Kansas is a windy state.
For sure, absolutely.
So, and who made the panels?
These panels, I believe they are Q-cell bifacial panels.
Okay.
So they are manufactured in North America.
Oh. Mm-hmm. And then there's special combiner boxes that are inside or outside on
So the inverters are mounted outside. The combiner boxes are installed next to the main distribution panels on the inside of the building.
So they'd run the wires from the different spots back to
yes, you can see the combiner boxes there on the actual parking awnings.
That's on the end of at the base of the pillars there. Okay.
Absolutely.
Are they going to add more?
At this point, so in Kansas for Evergy, to be net metered, you do have to be under 200 kilowatts. So yes, absolutely. They could go larger, but you kind of lose value if you go over that 200 kilowatt threshold, because at that point you're no longer net metered, so the utility actually doesn't compensate you the same way they would.
So even though they're commercial, they're net metered? Okay, well that's going to be a better deal than
absolutely
than the other.
So yes, we are covering 30% of their actual consumption, which is good, because I mean they do keep all their appliances running 24 hours. but we want to make sure that we're covering most of their daytime usage. And so that's kind of what we shoot for.
And I have reports that track the progress to that end then?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, there is online monitoring, so we can see in real time, in a 15-minute increments, exactly how much power they're producing versus how much they're consuming.
And so today would be a good day for production.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
And with the production that they are producing, they'll be saving just under $2 million in energy costs over the next 25 years.
Wow.
That's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Is there any battery backup?
No, not currently.
No battery backup.
Nope. Battery backup is a great option. It's wonderful. But as long as you're net metered, it's kind of more of a luxury item.
If they're producing less than they need in total, then there's really not much point for the battery backup.
Exactly. So if they were to go over what they're actually producing, that would be a good instance when they would need commercial storage options, for sure.
Is their power pretty reliable, or they don't lose power, so they wouldn't really need battery backup?
Yes. I'm sure they still do experience some outages at sometimes, but for the most part, it's pretty reliable.
Well, why don't you take just a minute and contrast that with what you would do for a residence?
Okay. On a residential installation, we would try to get as close as possible to that 100% offset where you're producing as much energy as you actually consume. But even on residential utilities, they do have a cap. For Evergy, it's a 15 kilowatt system size if you want to stay net metered. But as long as you're under that threshold and you're under 100% of your actual consumption, you can't qualify for net metering. You can also go above that 15 kilowatt threshold if you want to, but you would be in parallel generation. And at that point, that's when we would recommend storage options. That way, you're not feeding anything back to the grid. Any excess power production, you are storing to use at a later time. So, yeah.
Okay.
What type of batteries do you guys put in for residential?
We have quite a few different options. We offer Tesla Powerwalls, Enphase Energy, Generac, as well as Solark and Stores.
So, and you have a methodology for which selection, or the price, or availability, or?
Absolutely. Okay. So, I mean, we can run through the options, show the differences. I mean, they're pretty comparable. Tesla obviously has a pretty long waiting period.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with Tesla Powerwalls, there would be a delay given the length of time for them to get you the system. So
absolutely. Enphase is actually one of my favorites. That's my go-to. That's what I like to recommend to homeowners. But Solark and Stores, those are also great options. They're all very comparable. They all have very good user interfaces on the monitoring apps that they use, which is super cool. I mean, you can definitely get lost in just watching how much energy you're consuming and how much you're producing. But it is a fun thing to be able to see.
So with installing comes, I guess, an app that allows the resident to monitor the system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All of the battery systems and solar systems that we offer do come with a monitoring platform where, on your phone, you can see in real time exactly how much power you're producing and how much you're consuming. So that's super helpful if you want to get more energy efficient, in the future. You can see, maybe I should turn off these lights, or maybe I shouldn't do my laundry in the middle of the day, or, absolutely. So, perfect. Yeah.
What's your interface with electric vehicles as far as battery storage?
Very good question.
150
Absolutely, yes. We do offer charging options. We are partnered with Clippard Creek to offer battery storage or charging stations. But yeah, absolutely. If you have a battery storage situation during the daytime when you're producing all of your energy, most people don't consume most of their energy during the day. So any excess energy would be stored in your battery. And then whenever you decide to charge your electric vehicle, it would draw from the batteries.
for emergency hookups, is that something that's pretty reasonable as far as the lost power and then you hook your truck up to the house?
Yeah, absolutely. That is an option, especially with the new Ford Lightning they're coming out with. You can backfeed to charge your batteries if you wanted to. So yes, that's absolutely an option. But yeah.
So for the residential, they can get inverters that will allow them to function when the grid is down?
Yes, absolutely.
Are most customers selecting that, or they're just going with the simpler system of net metering, and if the grid's on, they're fine? And
I'd say it's about 50-50. Some people want batteries, and some people are fine just offsetting their current electric usage. But we're definitely seeing an increase in interest with battery storage, for sure.
What's the cost of the batteries?
That is dependent on how much energy you actually consume. But it can very easily get expensive pretty quickly.
well, what would be a typical size for, say, a 2,000 square foot house?
Typical battery storage, I'd say probably about 10 kilowatt hours. So just depending on the brand we use, whether that be Enphase, Generac, Tesla Powerwall, we're probably in the neighborhood of 20 to 25,000 for a battery backup. In addition to the cost of actually
Okay.
going solar.
Includes the transfer switch or?
Yes, absolutely.
What was the question?
What was a typical size? The original question was, what was the typical size of your battery backup for a 2,000 square foot house?
Hear his question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a?
That does include transfer switches. That was
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So what, if any, maintenance headaches have people encountered on the residential side putting them on?
Well, sometimes panels do go out, microinverters do go out, but we do warranty all of our systems that we install. So it's as easy as just giving us a call. We'll come out. A lot of times we can see what the problem is on our online monitoring platform. So we can log into the systems that we install, so we can see exactly what's going on, whether that be a panel down, microinverter, whatever the case may be. We come out and we cover that work.
Yeah, but it might be for other.
What's that warranty time that you warranty the panels?
So the panels, they do have manufacturer and linear power warranties, which are generally up to 25 years. Some even go as far as 30 years. Inverters also have a 25-year manufacturer warranty. The batteries, they generally come with a 10-year warranty, depending on the cycles and how you actually use your battery.
So it's so many cycles or so many years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And then Cromwell does offer a 10-year service warranty on all of our installations. So after a residential installation, should there be any leaks in the roof or anything like that, we will cover that up to 25 or 10 years.
The LED lights.
Oh yeah,
Any other questions?
How's business ahead? We got some federal programs.
Absolutely, yes. With the new IRA, they did up the federal tax credit from 26 to 30% through 2032. So that will be there for a while. I mean, it's an excellent thing, and I'm very glad they did it. It obviously makes my job a little bit easier.
Business continue to pick up?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Especially after that. I mean, interest has just been through the roof. I mean, people are very excited about it. It's a great time to go solar. It really is.
Are we going inside to see anything?
Is there anything inside you see?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I would love to take you guys all up on the roof to show you up
Well,
there, but
I understand
no,
that.
unfortunately we cannot.
Is there anything to look at closer to the carports?
If you would like to take a look at the actual car chargers up
Why don't
close,
we
we can do that.
yeah,
sure,
let's go.
absolutely.
These are
Probably.
your SMA, S&M, or what are they?
No
One more
problem.
time.
Yes. So yes, all of the solar panels, they tie in to this combiner box here. It's buried underground, and that's where it actually gets to the main distribution panel and the meter on the inside of the building.
And then you were talking about the angle.
Yes. So the preferable angle, whenever we do ground mount systems, we do like to put it at a 30-degree angle because we're pretty close to 30th latitude. So that's kind of how we judge what the best angle is for. But these are probably angled at about 10%, which still creates great energy during the summer as well as the winter months.
Do they have a reason for wanting to go with a lower slope?
Just so it'll cover more ground for the actual carports. Absolutely.
Are they on top then of the building, or are they
Yes.
supposed to do this here?
No, the first phase was filling the roof. So
You have to go
the top of the building.
You
is
have to go to their
completely
website to look at the
Oh, yeah.
drone pictures.
Absolutely.
It's all covered first, and then they have it this one.
And then this was phase 2.
So part of the benefit of the carports is shading for the cars.
Absolutely.
Shade, rain protection,
Yep.
all that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
been really nice.
So it just
You can also charge your car.
Yes, absolutely. We do have the charging station right down there.
Are you seeing more people wanting carports as opposed to even roofs, just these, since it really is a useful thing for retail?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes, I mean, it's a great use of real estate, you know, because I mean, it gives people, you know, protection for their vehicles as well as creating more energy. So there is a lot of interest right now, and a lot of people doing it.
and say your house is shaded with a good tree, but you have a carport that you want to do for an extra car that is
absolutely.
sunny, then you could get your solar that way without
Right.
cutting down your trees.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Are you
Absolutely.
seeing school interest in K-12 schools or high schools?
Uh,
Because they have a lot of parking areas.
No, absolutely. We have installed on a couple of schools in the past, but we do expect interest to increase, especially with the new.
ESSER funding and this. You just haven't seen thus far too much of, hey, let's do our carports and improve our energy yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially on the state level, you know, when they're working with their budgets, you know, trying to find different ways to use that. But we are expecting a lot more interest in the future.
I use it to cool my drinks.
Such would that run about?
You know, it just depends on the size, obviously. How many solar panels they would actually need. It's really hard to ballpark like that, you know, but I would say to a typical, you know, if we were going to do a roof mount system, you know, to cover as much energy as possible, and then we added a carport, probably in the neighborhood of 10,000 for a carport to hold the actual solar panels. So it's definitely doable, and then we can, you know, add car chargers
Right.
to the actual carport if we wanted to do that.
Okay, well, thank you. If you have any other follow-up question,
Okay. Yes, these are the level 2 car chargers from Clipper Creek that we partner with. And the MERC has made that one of their amenities that they offer to their customers, where they can, you know, plug in and charge their electric vehicles. So that's another great way that they are adding to their sustainability goals.
Is there a charge for these?
I'm sorry?
Is there a charge for these chargers?
No, this is something that the MERC offers their customers for free, no charge.
You have two MERC co-op in, and they cover that charge
Yep.
cost.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Gee, that's nice.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great thing that they're able to offer their customers. So it's wonderful.
Would that be a unit you would put in a residence, like
Yes,
in your
we
own
absolutely
garage?
could. So most of the times when you buy an electric vehicle, it does come with its own charger that you can plug into your wall, whether that be just, you know, 120
Right.
volt plug-in, or we can also install like a 220 volt plug-in.
Right, if you wanted a better one.
Exactly.
It's faster charging.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mhm. So typically the standard that you get when you do buy an electric vehicle just plugs into the 120 volt outlet, and that's a slow trickle charge. So it would probably take, you know, around 8 hours to fully charge your vehicle. Whereas if you go with the level 2 charge, that's probably going to be closer to 2 to 3 hours to fully charge your vehicle.
much more palatable.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Except that mostly when you're sleeping, if you plug
How
it
that
in,
affects the battery life. I hear about
Charging
you plug it in
systems now that are
while you're
15
sleeping.
minutes, 10 minutes. Is that
No,
tough
absolutely.
on batteries?
No, actually, it's better for batteries. The more they
Really?
cycle through.
But it's the faster charging. I thought that was to deteriorate the batteries.
No, it actually does not deteriorate the batteries anymore. Yeah, and I mean, most of the warranties on the batteries, they cover, let's say up to 7,000 to 8,000 cycles.
Really?
So, absolutely.
So it's some there's technology changes in the batteries themselves. It used to be that was the faster you charged it, the less cycles you got.
Yeah, well, it will draw your energy faster, but no, that's what the batteries are meant
Really?
for.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
We've got a quick charge also. They use 220.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any mechanism to lock in your your hose or whatever, to the charging station? Because a friend of mine and I drove in her electric car, and when we came back, somebody had taken her charger out.
That's unfortunate. At
It
this
was in
point,
Overland Park.
at this point, I don't think there's any mechanism that would actually lock it in that would prevent
Really?
somebody from coming to
Have you
unplug
heard
your
of
vehicle.
this happening?
No, that's actually the first time I've heard of that.
Yeah, she was very, very upset. that-
I would be too.
Put it inside the garage and close the garage
Inside
when
the-
you leave.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, it was,
was
in
out and
a
about.
public parking
Oh.
garage at Town Center Plaza.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Plugged into
extremely
their
And we
unfortunate.
went to an art gallery, and when we came back,
Someone
our
had taken
charger
it
was
out.
lying on the floor.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's people out there that will do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Terrible.
Yeah, it really is.
There's probably have to be a future thing to deal with.